We start off from Bawku in the Upper East region, where officials of the National Peace Council dispatched to Bawku to aid in mediation efforts aimed at ending the decades-old chieftaincy conflict in the area have returned to Accra after they were caught in a crossfire of the warring factions. Now, there have been renewed fighting between the factions, with gunshots reported, leading to the loss of lives and destruction of properties as well. We can hear from my colleague, Albert Sorry, shortly, but this is the situation. We can hear from the Peace Council.
The team arrived in the morning when there was gunshot, and so they could not do the mediating work that they were supposed to do. They went along with some CSOs who've been partnering with us as far as the work is concerned. They met the regional minister and some other dignitaries in the north in what can be done. We are hoping that after today, the situation will be clearer. Because one of the festivals was supposed to have been celebrated today. As at now, we have no word as to what is happening now. But after today, if the situation remains calm, then the team might go back to see what we can do to help resolve the problems there. Yeah, we had a peace advisory team that is in Bawku. Unfortunately, the key person who was leading the team died a few weeks ago, and so that disrupted our operations a little bit. But we hope to get them back together. But whilst we do this, we think that there's a need for a holistic resolution of the problem. And so we'll be getting in touch with the Ministry of Chieftaincy after it, because it's purely a chieftaincy matter. So once we resolve the situation and there is peace, there's a need to resolve the chieftaincy issue so that this thing will be done once and for all. So we'll be liaising with all those partners to ensure that we bring lasting solution to the problem that is in the area.
That's the Chief Council there, Peace Council rather, on the situation in Bawku. Well, in a related development, police in the northeast region have beefed up security in Nalerigu and Gambaga following the renewed chieftaincy violence between Mamprusis and Kusasis in Bawku that we've been talking about. According to the police, the move is to forestall any reprisal as tensions continue to rise in the two Mamprusi towns following the killing of two natives of Gambaga and arrest of elders of the Mamprugu kin. My colleague Ilyasu Tanko earlier came through with this report.
Well, we understand two gentlemen that died in the violence that started yesterday on Monday. They were natives of Gambaga, and so the Gambaga youth are agitating for the killing of these two young men. And in Nalerigu as well, we understand that some elders at the Overlord Palace were sent to Bawku. On their way back, they were arrested. According to our sources, they were arrested by police in the Bolgatanga and have since been transferred on the orders of the national security. So we understand these two elders of the Nairi are currently with the national security in Accra. And so that has also sparked agitation in the Nalerigu town as well. As I speak to you now, the two towns are very tense. I can see youth coming on motorbikes riding from Gambaga to Nalerigu, and there are also dozens of youth currently massed at the Chief Palace, the Overlord Palace, and also some youth have also massed at the Regional Coordinating Council. And the police are saying that it's a very tense situation, and that's exactly what is happening here. As I speak to you now, people are reluctant to come out because yesterday in the night, the youth had earlier besieged the Chief Palace, demanding the release of these two palace elders. And this morning again, they have besieged at the palace, demanding that these palace elders be released. They are threatening mayhem and chaos as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, the situation is not different in Gambaga as well. The youth there are also very agitated, massing up at the Gambaga Chief Palace and also demanding justice for the two individuals that died in the violence in Bawku.
That's my colleague Ilias Otanko with that earlier report. Well, it's emerging now that the Interior Ministry has imposed the curfew on the Bawku area. So the statement that has been issued a while ago talks about that new curfew that has been imposed. We know that every time that curfew has been reviewed, but the latest today is what we are hearing about. This particular curfew has been imposed on Bawku. Earlier also we interacted with the MP for Bawku Central, Mahama Yariga, who mentioned that its relative calm has been restored. So you can see that statement there on your screens, talking about the imposition of curfew on Bawku municipality and its environs in the Upper East region. So the Minister for Interior has, by executive instrument, renewed the curfew hours imposed on Bawku, and it's from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. effective today, Wednesday, December 29, 2021. So government calls on the chiefs, elders, opinion leaders, youth, and people of the area to exercise restraint in the face of the challenges confronting them, as well as to use non-violent means to channel their energies into ensuring peace. Meanwhile, there's a total ban on all persons in the aforementioned communities and their environs from carrying arms, ammunition, or any offensive weapon for that matter. And that's that statement issued by the Interior Ministry. Well, I'll take you live now to the Northeast region, where my colleague Ilias Otanko joins us now via phone on the latest situation, because as a result of what's happening in the Upper East region, we're told that security has been beefed up in the Northeast region. But first, Ilyasu, let's quickly draw the link between what's happening in Bawku as against the security situation that has to be beefed up in the Northeast region.
Well, we know that the Nalerigu is the capital of the Mamprusi traditional area. That's where the overlord is currently. And so anytime there's a security situation in terms of in relation to this particular chieftaincy violence, we always see some spillover activity in Nalerigu, and that's exactly what is happening with this particular renewal of the violence in the Bawku area. As we speak right now, the youth of Nalerigu are still at the chief palace, the overlord palace. They are asking that the overlord quickly intervene for the immediate release of some of his elders that allegedly were sent to Bawku to officiate a funeral ceremony. And according to our information, these palace elders were sent there, and on their way back home, they were arrested in Bolgatanga and have since been airlifted to Accra by the National Security, we are told. And so the youth are agitated. They feel that this is a disrespect to the authority of the Mamprugu king. And so they are asking for the removal of these palace elders. And then in Gambaga, where we understand that during the violence, which started on Monday night, 2 persons out of the 9 deaths that have since been recorded were natives of Gambaga, and that have sparked agitation by the youth there. We understand these 2 gentlemen were caught up and they were brutally murdered in the Bawku town, and so that has triggered the tension in the Gambaga town as well. But this morning, the youth of both towns had massed up in various locations, and some were actually mobilizing to carry out revenge attacks. But the regional minister, who led other members of the Security Council, met with the authorities in the area. He first of all went to the chief imam of the Northeast region, who is based in Gambaga, and spoke with the chief imam. Our understanding is that those young men that were killed allegedly were family members of the chief imam. So the regional minister and the members of the Security Council met him and spoke with him. And from there, they went to the chief palace, the Gambaga chief palace, where they met with the chief and his elders and also spoke with them. And they assured them that they were going to keep the youth under control. But unfortunately, the minister has not been able come to Nalerigu, the regional capital, and he has since left for Waliwali. He has gone back to Waliwali. My understanding is that he's preparing to go to Accra to see how he can intervene for the removal or for the release of the elders of the Nairi, which is causing a lot of tension in town. And so as we speak right now, there has been calm and easy calm, though, in the Gambaga township and particularly in the Nalerigu township, where the youth are still very peeved about the arrest of these elders of the Nairi. But in Gambaga, there have been some semblance of calm, and Nalerigu as well. The youth are starting to leave the chief palace, although some of them are still there. And so, yes, the Regional Security Council has been able to bring some semblance of calm in these two towns.
Well, but that's interesting. It appears that we are still yet to hear from the police or the Regional Security Council officially on this particular situation, even though you are in the Northeast region. What exactly are you picking up when it comes to these conflicts in the Upper East region?
Well, we understand that there's an ongoing festival in the Upper East region, and because of the situation there, there have not been enough information coming in to the Nalerigu here where I am. But we understand that there's some kind of activity ongoing in there. We also understand that there have been some curfew imposed in that area from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
That's what we are picking up. And also there have been engagements both here in Nalerigu and in Bawku.
But Ilyasu, though, what is the talk among residents where you are in terms of this particular development? We've talked about the curfew amongst others. What exactly would you say is a talk among residents on this renewed violence?
Well, like I said, in Gambaga and Nalerigu, there's an outpouring of anger by the youth here. And we have begun to see some armed police personnel on the streets of Nalerigu particularly. We've seen police armed and patrolling the town as well. People have gathered, and you could see them talking about this particular incident, and you could see people expressing anger, particularly about the rest of the palace elders. And they are saying that the only way to ensure permanent calm is for these particular elders to be released wherever they are. Okay.
Well, Ilyasu Tanko, great reporting there. Thank you very much for that reporting from the Northeast region, even though the curfew also has been imposed in the Bawku and some municipalities. We've been interacting with the MP for Bawku Central, Mahama Yariga, who tells us about some arrests that have been made already, and then also the fact that relative calm has been restored to the area. We're still monitoring the situation in Bawku. As and when we get it, we'll bring it to you.